Good evening, everyone. This is Sir Jude, and here is the video lecture for our very long lesson this morning, which is about homeostasis. Okay, it's been a while since I recorded or since we tackled a lesson because of several class suspensions brought by the typhoon and later the southwest monsoon. So let's just jump right in. Okay, all right. So when we say homeostasis, it means that a certain system achieves a state of balance, equilibrium, and harmony. Okay, so pag balanse, pag pantay-pantay, tapos sabay-sabay. Now, there are many ways we can approach this topic, but we have to focus on science, specifically on the biological processes happening in our body. And those three processes are, so we have body temperature, body blood glucose, and the last one is blood pressure. So let's tackle all the normal values for body temperature, blood glucose, and blood pressure. We decided to focus on these three because they are the ones that doctors or nurses usually ask for our vital signs whenever we get sick. And out of all the topics that can be covered under homeostasis, these three are the easiest and the most relatable to you, my students. So when we say normal body temperature, the range is 36.5 degrees Celsius to 37.5 degrees Celsius. We focus on Celsius because that's the unit that we normally use the most, frequently use the most for temperature. For blood glucose, the normal levels are range from 70 to 110 milligrams per deciliter. And for the blood pressure, the normal range is from 90 over 60 to 120 over 80 millimeter mercury. Okay, let's start with body temperature first. So what does it mean when your body temperature is between the ranges of 36.5 to 37.5 degrees Celsius? So meaning you have a normal body temperature. Therefore, that's the ideal condition to stop harmful microorganisms. It also helps maintain energy for body fuel, and the enzymes are at their best condition. So remember, no, when your body temperature is too low, you feel weak to the point of being drowsy or lazy. While if your body temperature is too high, therefore your body is so energetic that you consume so much energy. So let's just maintain our temperatures on the normal ranges, no? And what happens when the body temperature deviates from the normal levels? Let's start with high body temperature first, which happens whenever there's hot climate or whenever you perform strenuous activities like, for example, exercise. So for high body temperature, our sweat glands activate, perspiration starts, so we sweat, and sweating cools down our body. Therefore, lowering the body temperature back to normal. By contrast, if your body temperature is too low or you feel cold, no, because of the cold climate, therefore our blood vessels narrow. We start to shake our body through shivering in order to warm up our body. As a consequence, that activity elevates our body temperature to normal. Okay? So out of the three topics under homeostasis, this is the easiest, no? And the most relatable. So all the mechanisms involved in regulating body temperature, all of them follow negative feedback. Because in high body temperature, you start from high and then you end up lowering it. While for lower body temperature, you start from low and then you end up elevating it. Okay? So we always return back to the normal ranges, which is 36.5 to 37.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, next is blood glucose. Okay, so remember for blood glucose, the normal levels are 70 to 110 milligrams per deciliter. And the purpose of that range is it keeps normal body functions. You're not sick, you're not feeling unwell. Basically, everything is normal, no? No problem with your body. Okay? So when that happens, what happens when you deviate from the normal blood glucose levels, no? So pancreas really, for example, if you start eating, so kapag busog ka, you have a high blood sugar, and when that happens, pancreas will release insulin. And because there's food in our body will absorb nutrients, no? So the liver and skeletal muscles will store blood sugar. And because it stores blood sugar, therefore the blood sugar level in the bloodstream decreases. So you start from high blood sugar, you end up with lower blood sugar or blood glucose. Okay. Next, how about if you skip a meal or you're dieting or you're fasting? So therefore you have a low blood sugar. Now, of course, the opposite events happen. Pancreas will still release, but this time the hormone will be glucagon. And because you're not because you skipped a meal or you're dieting or you're fasting, at some point no hindi ka naman nagugutom because the liver and skeletal muscles release blood sugar this time. No? So pag wala pang food na available, hindi ka masyadong nagugutom because nag-release ng liver and yung skeletal muscles ng blood sugar. And as a consequence, therefore, blood sugar level in our bloodstream increases. Therefore, blood glucose elevates. So what happens now? What type of feedback mechanism occurs for regulation of blood glucose or sugar in our body? The same as the first one. This is negative feedback. We start from high blood sugar, we end up with low blood sugar. When we start with low blood sugar, we end up with high blood sugar. Back to normal. Okay? Now, next, last but definitely not the least is blood pressure. Okay? So for blood pressure, why is it important that we have a normal blood pressure ranging from 90 over 60 to 120 over 80 millimeter mercury? That's because advantages are normal blood flow. Next is steady blood circulation and delivery of nutrients. No amount of blood is stuck in one portion of the body. It's always being distributed or circulated in our body to circulatory and with the help of the respiratory system as well when we exchange gases and nutrients. Okay. Next, it's also we have when you have intact blood vessels, they don't grow super thick. They also don't grow super thin. So what happens when we deviate from the normal blood pressure, no? So for example, when you're stressed and you eat salty food, that's the time that you will have a high blood pressure. And with that, our blood vessels will widen. Because remember, when you have a high blood pressure, the blood flow in our body is too fast. Therefore, blood vessels will widen. And at the same time, no, especially when you are running or panicking or something, ang taas-taas ng energy mo, and at some point, no, kailangang at some point, biglang napapagod ka to the point that you are exhausted and you have to take a rest. And in that case, our heart rate decreases. Okay? So, kailangan kasi mag-relax ang katawan natin, mabalik sa normal blood pressure. Therefore, blood pressure decreases. Okay? Next, what happens naman if we have low blood pressure? So, examples are dehydration, so loss of water or lack of water in our body, or blood loss when you donate blood. So you feel weak to the point of feeling faint or unconscious, no? When that happens, blood vessels will narrow. Okay? And because of that, para hindi tayo masyadong, di ba, people will shake our body, no? In order to increase our heart rate. And with that, blood pressure increases. So ngayon, now that we're done, the type of feedback mechanism involved in regulation of blood pressure is also negative. from high blood pressure, the blood vessels and the heart rate, no, will lower them down. While for low blood pressure, no, again, heart rate or rather the heart will elevate the blood pressure back to normal. When we say negative feedback, kasi we always contradict the stimulus or the change in our body. All right? So for the three examples, our answers are always negative. So what is the importance of the negative feedback mechanisms, no? So this is one of those times na mas okay na negative ang nangyayari, no? And I'll explain why. Because going back to the title of our lesson, negative feedback mechanism is an example of or is a manifestation of homeostasis. We always find a way to restore to state of balance, equilibrium, and harmony. And isn't it great na yung katawan natin ay may kapangyarihan na ibalik sa normal levels, body temperature, blood glucose, and blood pressure. Now, sometimes we need help din naman to the form of other people when we are injured, or di kaya through medications or therapies. Okay? But that's the power of the negative feedback mechanism that so many people underestimate or abuse. Okay? So what happens naman if only positive mechanisms occur in our body or it becomes exaggerated or abused, no? So let's go back to our previous examples way back when we discussed positive and negative feedback mechanisms. I will just focus on the positive feedback mechanisms na lang and discuss to you ano mangyayari kapag walang negative feedback na mangyari with these examples. So for childbirth, when oxytocin elevates, contributing to the contraction of uterus and cervix, no? What if the baby is already released from the mother's womb, but the uterus and the cervix still contract? So uterus and cervix will remain open even if there is no baby, which is hard, especially hard for women because they will become fat and obese, and their reproductive system will now be exposed, no? Exposed to vulnerable threats, especially dangerous microorganisms. No? And other tawag dito, other barricades, no? Pag napapadaan, nadaanan ng na bangga ang sobrang laking uterus and cervix, kawawa po si mother, baka malaglag na rin ang uterus when that happens. Okay? So next, what will happen naman if there's uncontrollable lactation even after pregnancy, no? Because prolactin and oxytocin levels trigger the release of mammary glands in milk. So what happens if palagi nagagatas si mother? So the mother will produce breast milk even if there is no baby, and that will be painful for them because their breast will always swell. Okay. Next, example number 3 is defense. No, wherein white blood cells kill, accumulate, and kill or attack the parasite. So what if the parasite dies, but the white blood cells still continue accumulating? So that's the time that the white blood cells will target the healthy cells or healthy parts of our body. So our body will become our own enemy here. Okay, so white blood cells will attack our body even if there is no threat anymore. White blood cells become the threat. Okay? Next, adrenaline rush. No? Wala namang kailangang ika-panic, but at the same time, naglalabas ng adrenaline si adrenal gland. So, we will always be in a state of panic or anxiety, which is not good because you have to be calm or happy at some point in our lives. Okay? Hindi naman din maganda palagi yung palaging stress or heightened na ating emotions. Okay, next, for wound healing pala muna, no? So after injury, when wound opens, no, platelets stick together to the damaged blood vessel, so blood clot begins. What happens pag sarado na yung wound pero may platelets pa din, so magkakaroon po ng traffic in our blood vessels because haharang po ang platelets. No, so therefore, merong mini stroke. Di ayos ang circulation ng blood sa katawan. Alright? So yeah, platelet accumulation will disrupt normal blood circulation. Okay? Ayan, mucus production. So irritants enter respiratory airways, mucus level increases, irritation increases, mucus production exaggerates. And when that happens uncontrollably, na wala man lang control ng negative feedback mechanism, therefore, we will always be uncomfortable due to excessive sneezing, which is not good no? Because physically, namumula tayo. And when we are talking near to somebody, may makikitang bakas-bakas ng sipon sa ating ilong, which is not pleasant or hygienic to look at or flattering to look at. Okay? Yeah, male ejaculation. So what happens if your semen is always ejecting from your body? Therefore, you will always feel exhausted or tired, no? Males will always be tired and depleted of bodily fluids. Na mabilis mapagod because lalabasan. And imagine the stink and the unhygienic effect on that for pag makikita ng ibang tao na nagkakalat yan uncontrollably. Diba? Okay? So, I think this one is the last example that we're going to tackle for ovulation, no? So, release of egg cell because ovaries mature with the help of increasing estrogen as well as luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So, yeah, females will always be fertile, no? Mahirapan sila i-regulate ang kanilang female reproductive system. Okay? Next, ayan. So let's answer the following questions. No? A school nurse measures the following values for a healthy student. Body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Blood glucose is 90 milligrams per deciliter. And blood pressure is 118 over 76 millimeter mercury. What do these measurements suggest about the student's body? Therefore, when you notice, all of the values fall within the normal range. So, therefore, these body systems work together to maintain homeostasis. Okay. Next, number 2. Before giving a speech, Carlos feels nervous. His heart beats faster and his blood pressure increases. A few minutes after the speech, his heart rate and blood pressure return to normal. What kind of feedback mechanism occurs and why? So, when heart rate and blood pressure return to normal, that's automatically negative feedback mechanism. And the answer here is automatically letter C. Ayan. Okay? Next is number 3. After hiking under the hot sun for 2 hours, Miguel begins to sweat heavily. As sweat evaporates from his skin, his body temperature gradually returns to normal. Why is sweating an example of homeostasis? It blank. So we sweat because of hot temperature, and we sweat in order to cool down our body. So letter C removes heat from the body, restoring the body temperature to normal. Okay? Next. Ito, after eating a bowl of rice, chicken, and fruit, Anna's blood glucose level increases. Her pancreas releases insulin. What is the main effect of insulin in maintaining homeostasis? So it triggers the liver and skeletal muscles too. So when you have high blood glucose, therefore liver and skeletal muscles store glucose, decreasing blood glucose levels in the bloodstream. So the answer for this question is letter B. Okay? Yan, tingnan natin kung meron pa. So, last na is during childbirth, contractions become stronger as the baby's head presses against the cervix. The stronger contractions continue until the baby is delivered. Why is this process considered positive feedback? Yeah, because no, uh, before no lumalaki or nagwa-widen na si cervix, but after as soon as papalabas na ang head ni baby, palaki ng palaki ngayon ang contractions or rather si uterus. So therefore, this is considered a positive feedback because the response strengthens the original stimulus. So letter B. Okay po. Ayan. So that's all for our video lecture today. And prepare for please review our handout and prepare for the activity tomorrow. Till then, this is Sir Jude. Good afternoon and goodbye.